Hello, everyone, and welcome to Winged Victory with Rob and Scott, a podcast by the National Museum of World War II Aviation here in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Well, hello. We have another segment with our friend Bill Barclay. He's going to talk about his great L5B here, probably the most authentic L5B anywhere to be found. And that'll get us going for the next segment of Winged Victory. We'll also hope in the future to spend more time with Bill to hear about crewing at the Reno Air Races with a Corsair, and I'd like to find out why everybody calls him Bill Dude. So with that, we'll get started with him talking about this airplane, and we have a little treat for you at the end, after the credits, courtesy of our friend Nick Coleman.
Yeah, on my airplane. It's sitting here behind us here, this little L5B here. Like I said, family was still very much Chino, and Johnny Maloney would work late. You know, he wasn't working at Fighters anymore. He was working for his dad, Ed Maloney, who's the founder of Planes of Fame. So he had kind of his own little area in the back of the shop building there. And so I would stop by in the evenings sometimes and have a beer with Johnny or hang out. Most of the time we'd just talk about whatever. And we were swapping parts at the time, getting a lot of stuff, and you get stuff from us. And we were buying some stuff that was excess to them. So we were always kind of making deals, and I learned to fly, and I was flying Cessnas and things like that. I think you and I have about the same amount of hours. I think you've surpassed me now with all your bomber time, but pretty low time guys, really, both of us. And so, low time guy, and all those Chino guys, it's Luscombs. I mean, that's where you start. That's where you start with those guys. And my feet were never quite fast enough for a Luscomb. I did get my tail wheel endorsement in a Luscomb, but just barely. And, so I talked to Johnny. I said, man, I just really don't have anything to fly. There's not like opportunity like down here. And, man, I really want to get a tail wheel airplane. What do you think I should get? Oh, get a Luscomb. No, I'm not doing heel brakes. I started getting lessons in a Cherokee 140 and then quickly went to a Champ. And then Jerry Wilkins was flying the same, renting it from the same place, and knocked tail wheel out of it and kind of messed it up. So we went to the 150 after that because the Champ was gone. But so he's like, man, he goes, have you ever thought about an L5? I said, of course, knew what an L5 was. We had the one from Bob Black Sheep down there at Planes of Fame. And I said, no, I never really thought about that. Great airplane, great transition airplane to a T6. It flies like a big airplane. He goes, you got to try performance endorsement in T6? I said, yeah. I said, but you don't want me flying out on my own, but yeah. And he's like, well, it's a good transition airplane for that. And it's kind of undervalued. No kidding. And so we talked about how much money I had a little bit. I mean, just conversation, right, over a couple of beers. Yeah, I got about this much, right, which was like every cent to my name. But, I said, well, maybe keep your eyes out and, talk to some other people, Bob Nightingale, some other people. So they were kind of keeping their eye out for me. And one day I was in that little office in the old shop. It looked like a little closet almost, when we did the extension. And, so I'm just in there, and Johnny called. And he goes, hey, you got that money? That's how it was. Hello, Bill Barclay, Westpac. Hey, Johnny, what's up? You got that money? What money? That money. And there was some extra words in there. What money? And finally, I'm like, we don't owe you money right now. No, the money. Okay, the money for what are you talking about? For the L5. What are you talking about? For the L5. What L5? What are you talking about? Oh, a guy down here, Chino, named Stephen Avon, who he just passed away actually here just a couple months ago, unfortunately. But he's got two projects down here. There's two brothers. They both have, Steve's got the two projects and all these parts, and the other brother, I think his name was Mike. I met him once. He had another airplane, which ended up going to Michael Nightingale, and Lefty were partners in that at one time. But so Johnny goes, they want so much for the hangar, and I'll just split the hangar with you. And you can take the best of everything for one airplane, and there's a lathe in there and all this spare stuff. And at the time, Joel Swaggart and Steve-O were still flying L5s. I mean, they were kind of working their way up. I think Steve-O was up to the steerman by then. And he goes, yeah, these kids are wearing that L5 out, you know? So we need extra stuff. Okay. So I said, I'm going to tell you something I'm never telling your dad. He goes, what's that? I trust you. and he laughed. And so, yeah, I made a quick call down to your dad's title company he uses, Dixie Air Title. And I'm like, hey, can you just, because the one that I ended up getting, this little airplane here, had registration. And Johnny did tell me that. But I do remember him telling me, I said, well, that's like full of wood. I said, I don't know nothing about a wood airplane. He goes, well, me neither.
That's how you learn, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It seemed like the thing
Details.
to do. Yeah, so just great. You know, it took about a day. I transferred some money out of my savings, all of it, by the way, to the checking account, and ended up, getting some money together. And then, got word from, the folks at the title company. Yeah, it seems to be a clear title. I said, I'll still do a whole title search, everything, but I need to do something now, because it was a very limited time frame, this and that. So Johnny goes, the guy lives down by you in Anaheim Hills down there. He said, just go down and he goes, I already paid for my part, just go down there. So I go down and driving through this little neighborhood it was right down the street from my house, actually, but these houses, and a little cul-de-sac. And it's great. It's summer, I don't even know what time of year it was, but, SoCal. So I got the windows down in the car, right?
Perpetual summer.
And I'm driving down the street. And, of course, anytime you're lost, right, you turn the radio down. Like when you're trying to do directions. Yeah. So I, turn the radio down, and I get up to this cul-de-sac. And there's all these, nice little suburban family homes. And there's a house there with the garage open, all lit up. And I swear you could hear CNN TV from the corner. I'm like, oh, that's the place, And so I go over there, and there's all this stuff in the garage, and there's kids running around, and just chaos, And the guy in there, big beard, and and like, wow, So you do the transaction. I don't have any logbooks or anything, right? I mean, nothing. So I said, well, can you write me like a receipt or something? And literally, I had just given him all but about $1,000 I had to my name. All of it. And I'm like, well, this is cool, right? But I haven't even seen the airplane.
You haven't even looked at it.
I haven't even seen the airplane. No pictures, no nothing. It's just, okay, Johnny, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So he goes, yeah, sure, I'll write you a receipt. So he goes in the house, and he comes back with one of these little notepads that the real estate agents give you. He's got a picture of a real estate agent. It's like a little thing you take phone messages on or something. And so he, I, Stephen Avon, sold, 6431 Charlie, blah, 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 William Barclay for this much, and then the parts for this much, we did it that way. And so I'm excited. I'm going to drive back out to Chino now.
And actually look at the airplane.
And go look at this airplane. So in the meantime, flip phones in those days, right? And so I'm getting some gas in the car. I'll call my dad. Hey, Dad. Yeah, son, what's going on? Man, I bought an airplane. No kidding. I said, yeah, it's a project, but it's like an airplane. It's like a World War II plane, Dad. Oh, that's great, son. He goes, man, there's got to be a lot of paperwork involved with that. What kind of stuff do you get for that? Because I told him how much I gave him. He goes, how much money do you have? That's all of it?
That was it?
Yeah, that was it. I said, I think I got $1,000 left. Maybe a little, maybe $500. And I'm looking at this, basically a Post-it note, sitting on the passenger seat of the car. Uh-oh. So I get off phone with Dad, and I'm trying to call Johnny. He's not answering his cell phone. So I call his wife, Chrissy, and of course, knowing all those guys forever, and gals. And so call Chrissy. No, he's out at the airport waiting for you, Bill, dude. And I'm like, I'm kind of in a panic because I don't. She goes, just relax, it's fine. I'm like, well, So we get out there, and we go to Johnny's little shop, Army Jeep. And we get two little the mag lights, And it's just over here. It's over by Pearson's hangar. Okay. So we get in the Jeep, and go over there, and slide these doors open, and no lights in the hangar. They're just two flashlights. It's dark. So you're looking at this, okay,
Yeah.
And so we kind of went from there, and hauled it back to the hangar at Rialto. I had had that little T hangar, you remember, across from the shop. So Mage and I were splitting that at the time, and I had a place to put it, and we got everything home for the airplane except for the wings, the fuselage, and the horizontal in the back of my Subaru Outback.
Yep.
All of it. Ailerons, they left the hatch open a few times, flaps, parts. The engine, I guess, went on the trucks when we were hauling the big stuff back about 2 weeks later. But yeah, got it home and got started on it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and about how long of a project was this thing? I know you did pretty much all of it on your own for the most part.
Well, yeah.
Weekends and nights.
I did, and you helped a little bit on it too, though, and your dad helped on it actually a little bit when we were getting ready to paint the tubular, and Alan, of course, helped. He did the cables for me, and other people. I can't tell you how many people helped, but as far as actually doing it, yeah, I pretty much built all of it. We did farm out a lot of that woodwork to Jamie Treat up the road here,
Yeah.
and Jamie just helped us on the T6 getting that licensed to this
He
year.
does a lot of our surfaces and stuff, control
Yeah.
surfaces.
Absolutely. So he helped with a lot of that. We kind of tag teamed that stuff, and so that was great having somebody that knew about wood. I still don't know anything about wood airplanes really, yeah. So it kind of developed. To answer your question, it's kind of hard to say because that was right when we were getting ready to move.
Yeah, we had kind of a transition period.
Yeah.
For a
So
year or two.
I think in total, I think it was probably about 7 years. I mean, just linear, it was about 10 years. But I think it was about 7 years. And then, we had it up here. And of course, then we're building a museum. So we're doing everything but working on that thing. So there was some big gaps in there. But I was always collecting stuff, as I had a little money. Kind of was finding out where the L5 Secret Squirrel stuff was and, working that out and getting things. And so kind of putting pieces together because it was missing a lot. I really, honestly, Johnny and I, we overpaid for what the value of the finished airplane was at the time. But, that's how it goes. And
So what does it feel like when you go your entire life loving Warbirds and helping everybody else do what they need to do to build your own airplane to the day when you actually get to go fly your own Warbird?
Boy, those are great questions. I don't know.
Can't really put it into words, I'm guessing.
No, and it wasn't like it was that deep, like, oh, this is my plane, it was none of that. It was just, that's what I do, right? That's what you do. We build airplanes. We build this history. That's what we do. So, yeah, I knew it was mine, and there's pride in that, for sure. But when I started the airplane, I just wanted something to fly, because we really had nothing, to fly up there for young guys and stuff without renting an airplane. And God, that's a good way to lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Fast, So it was really just build another airplane. But when I started, it was really about just getting something I could fly. So it was just going to very much be, in our terminology, a sport flyer.
Yeah.
Just build this thing, make it safe, and I
But
quit.
you being Bill, dude, there's no
Yeah,
way
it's
it's gonna end up that way.
Well,
it's
thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's quite a compliment. But really, I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I'm like, this is still going to be a representation of, Westpac, of us, of all of us as a team, which we are a very effective team. We all fill great squares in a very small shop, really. You think about the people we have now. But I thought, I'm supposed to be the guy for Flying Heritage that knew all the right screws and the right hardware and the right this and the right that. I probably need to kind of approach this thing in that way. So it quickly changed into something that let's make it as right as we can make it. And that's what we've kind of done here.
Yeah.
not kind of.
It's
really done.
really right.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah,
It-
I will say humbly, because you can always do better, and there's things, yes, that I would change. But I would say it's probably in the top 2 or 3 L5s in the world as far as restoration, authenticity, maybe even a little higher than that. It might not be the best of the best, but it's
think it's
pretty close.
damn
It's knocking at
close.
the door for sure.
Yeah.
They know I'm here. Put it that way.
Yep.
They know this little airplane's here. So yeah, it was quite rewarding to see it come together. Really the whole time we were building it, I mean, I really spent every cent to my name. Any time that I had a little extra money, it went into the airplane. And it's not to take away from all these people in the industry that helped. I mean, just simple things like I bought that chin cowling that you helped me on. Remember, it's a G model cowling that we had to modify for a B. And Neil Melton went down like 4 hours out of his way to go pick that up with his pickup truck.
Yeah.
You know, just to do it. And then one of his visits out to Rialto, he brought it out. And, you know, Bob Nightingale, I would go have lunch with him on Fridays. You know, a lot of times I would go down to the valley, and there's a lot of little secret spots down there where you could still get stuff. And we're starting in on P-38s. And so I'd go down to these places. And then on the way back, stop at Chino, maybe go to lunch with Uncle Bob, late lunch, and with Nightingale. And inevitably, you get back to the hangar, because I drive to Rialto, and then you get something out of the back seat, and there's L5 parts in there. And call them up, hey, what do I owe you for this? If I wanted to sell that crap, I would have sold it. You know, and just things like
Well,
that.
this just goes this just elevates the point that all the years of cultivating those relationships with people.
It's my whole life.
And everybody that they know, if they need to get something, they know to call you. Because even if you don't have it here, you know who to get it to.
Yeah,
get them to get the part. So I mean,
and I guess, you know, maybe your dad shouldn't hear this, but I do help a lot of people because it comes back.
Well, yeah.
And I learned that at an early age. You know, just, I mean, you saw how it worked, and you saw how it didn't work too. Good story on that. Bob Nightingale had a cable swedger. So anytime we were doing cables at fighters, at fighter builders, borrow Uncle Bob's cable swedger. And I was working for Wentworth. Now, Bob and Chuck Wentworth, they weren't the best of friends, okay? And so it was time to make cables for that Corsair I was working on, that little FG-1D. And, hey, Bob, can I come down and borrow your cable swedger? Sure. What you using it on? I on this Corsair pair. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I come down tonight and get it? I'll just have it for a couple weeks. Well, you can come get it, but you ain't building Corsair cables with that. And I'm like, I'm hurt. You know, I'm like, well, what do you mean? I've been borrowing this cable swedger, you know, for 8-9 years, you know, whatever. No. What do you mean, no? You tell that Chuck Wentworth it's $1,000 a day, you know, some number, some huge number. And I didn't understand, you know, because you're a kid, right? I mean, I wasn't a kid, but it was just automatic. And so he goes, look, he goes, is that your Corsair? No. Who does that Corsair belong to? Well, Javier Arango is who, you know, is the customer. Okay. So when you have your Corsair, you can come borrow this thing all day long. You can keep it there. But that's somebody else. That's a customer job. That's a pay job, right? You're getting paid. Yep. That's how I'm paying my rent, you know? Okay, well, that's how it works. So I went and told Wentworth, yeah, we can get that cable swedger, but we have to rent it. So shortly thereafter, Chuck got on the phone with all his buddies, and he got his own cable swedger. So that was fine, and we used that. But, you know, just life lessons. So, in other words, if it was for one of somebody in the community, and it was our airplanes, and that could be, you know, John Mazzala or, you know, anybody. If it was our airplanes, then it was open door. Anything we had that could help, that's what we did. And that's how it was growing up at Chino. We'd bum hose from Sanders or go over here and
that's
hardware, and they're down.
Going.
Yeah, it kept everybody going.
Everything, you know.
It kept everybody going. And so you learned it. That was really the time, you know, your eyes kind of opened. Oh, okay, customer stuff, our stuff. And so that was kind of eye-opening. And but so many people helped. I mean, I've often said that I should make a list of that. And I started one day, and I got over about 30 people. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot about so-and-so, and I forgot about so-and-so. So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I built most of it. You were here to watch most of it getting built and, you know, helped a bit, which was fabulous. But, yeah, I mean, it took a lot of people to do it. And so to get it done, it's really a victory for that whole community. I mean, even the stringers on this thing, Pat Harker made the stringers for the belly for me. What do I owe on that? Well, I just pay for a sheet of material. And he didn't have one of his guys do it, he did it. Yeah. You know, just things like that, you know. So really rewarding to see it done. And I don't know, I forget what year it was. It was 2015, Scott? Is that when we flew that thing? It was July 4th, I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
me and numbers, they don't work very well. Yeah, it's kind of weird because I was just thinking about this the other day, like all the things that we've done or I've done personally, and then I look back. I've only been in this business like 21 years, and yet, man, there's a lot of stuff. It's pretty cool. You think about how much you've developed and your fabrication skills and all that. Always very good mechanic. You changed that clutch on my truck. Remember that? Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's when I learned because you were pouring the water and the coolant at the same time. I have one in each hand. I thought,
man, that kid knows what the hell he's doing. Change that clutch. It seemed like about 2 seconds. I think it was a couple hours, but I was like, wow, that guy's pretty good. Yeah, well, that kid's pretty good, So to see, you develop to be our newest employee, 20 plus years, it's been very rewarding too. I mean, we really, we kind of turned you from a car guy into an airplane guy.
Well, yeah.
Because car guys are kind of fast,
I
get
was
it done.
actually just having this conversation last night because somebody asked me, what does it take to get into this thing? And I said,
I'm born into it.
they're like, because I don't have a lot of experience. And I go, well, I had 9 years of mechanic experience. And then when I started here, I knew nothing. Like I think I spent for the first 6 months just getting rust off of bolts.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. Yeah. And I still don't to this day. Hey, Alan, hey, how are we going to do this? Or what about, because everything's new. It's never, it's not a line production thing where you're just doing the same thing over and over. Everything that you touch is
every
new.
day is your first
different.
day in this business.
Every
Absolutely.
Day is your first day. Yeah. So, you're just continually evolving and learning off of guys like Barclay. I mean, he just sat here and rattled off, NAS 221 volt, and I'm like, I know what he's talking about.
You do,
but I didn't. I mean, it took years of going. Well, what you do? There's more than one type of screw. I thought there was a Phillips and a slot head.
Yeah, right. Well, there's that too.
those are distinctions with which I'm even aware, but it shows the depth and the breadth of all of this effort. Mm-hmm. To hear you guys talk, and the generations, both in measures of time and family connections,
absolutely,
that go into this community, and it's very much a community.
Absolutely, worldwide, actually.
Yeah, 100%. That works in both directions, good or bad.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't take very long to get the bad going, and then once you're kind of on that side of things, it's pretty tough to get stuff done. So
yes,
I mean, the fact that he can call anybody up basically in this community in the world and have a relationship with them is just it's a testament.
But
and like I said, not everybody can do that. Nobody.
No.
Very few people, if anybody, do what you do, and I think it's
I
very
often wonder what I do in there.
We
I
all
tell
know
you that
what
all
you
the
do in
time.
there.
I'm like, I was telling somebody just last night. I was talking on the phone, and I was like, I'm not even really sure what I do, but I know I do something. So I guess I'm still doing it. So I guess I'm doing it.
If I had to stop every time I needed something and try to figure out where to get it, how much to get it, how to even get it here, you would never get anything done.
Yeah.
Like I got the fortunate situation. I mean, not many people get this in this industry where I can go into his office and go, hey, I need this.
Yeah.
And then walk out.
Well, we can work together to figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
but
really
I mean, he does it. You know what I mean? And
that's
and a few weeks later, there's a part sitting on my bench, and go finish it. You know, and it is a luxury. I can't even begin to tell you what a luxury it is. So
again, it speaks to reputation.
Yeah. Well, it's reputation.
And
they just don't know me that well. That's what that's very true. I will tell you from a mechanic standpoint, or a restoration guy, it's pretty rewarding that, especially like when we were a big shop, when we had a lot of people, even when we first were here, Scott.
Yeah.
When I worked at Fighters, we worked on whatever we worked on. So, Foster and I are working on a Tiger Cat, doing a wing box, shooting a wing box or whatever, and doing this and that. That's what you worked on. Now, maybe, I can remember working on Stephen Gray's P-38 for years. And at the meantime, Matt Nightingale, who has a wonderful shop, I mean, I don't even know how many employees he has now down there at Chino, he was working on Bob Pond's P-63. So he had a group of guys working on that. Well, they were building that. I might have done a couple things with him, but I was working on this P-38. And so, just like now, I mean, we're working on the museum stuff, all that on the weekends. We're back to doing what we do. But, right now, you're working on Mustang surfaces.
Yeah.
And if we were a bigger shop, maybe we'd have, well, I guess you can kind of see it, right? Dave and your dad are working on the Koenig P-40, and it's
P-40E.
It's getting darn close.
Yep.
So, you're not super involved with that right now.
Yeah.
Not that you won't be or something. I mean, you've done things and helped and things, but your focus, at least right now, was on the other fuselage, the end model
Yeah, I got
fuselage.
that. And I got Tobel's Corsair.
And you got
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I gotta
So
start
you
working
have
on.
your project, right? Or that you're concentrating on. And the neat thing about my job is I get to be involved with
All of it.
everybody's project. Any airplane that's getting work done in the shop, Tobel's Corsair or whatever,
Props.
the museum airplanes. I kind of am I guess you'd call it like a service writer for the propeller shop.
Yeah.
So very involved there, and just with the recent two customers, Steve-O and the Koenig family, I'm kind of the point of contact for them. So I'm kind of at least for those two jobs, kind of
Project manager.
Yeah, kind of. I'm the guy that has to communicate bad news usually to the customer, and hopefully, hopefully it goes over well and we get the job.
We're sending you a bill too, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, yeah. Well, we've had to have a few of those conversations, but especially in the
So
prop
you got a
shop.
lifetime of this, an entire lifetime, and
Yeah.
you got more ahead of you. I mean, what do you?
I hope so.
What do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
What do you think the next 10 years looks like for you?
Boy, that's a great question for you and I to have over a beer one day, Scott. But no, I mean, and we haven't even touched on the museum here. I mean, there's so much more we could
Oh,
talk
I know.
about,
We could
right?
be here, like I said, for 6
Yeah,
days.
I mean, talk about air racing. We talk about this and that
we
and
will.
the other things.
We'll
and,
have you back
We
for
will.
all
and
this. I guarantee it.
so, but you think about this museum. I mean, and we're looking at one of them over here behind the lights that make my eyes blurry. William and his dad, Reese, and the whole family, really.
Yeah.
And all these wonderful people. Over 300, I believe, volunteers we have now. Does
easily
that
now.
sound
We're
about
getting
right?
we're
you
getting
guys?
close
We're
to
over
it.
300.
I
Yeah.
think.
Closer to 350, I think.
Okay. Well, that's a large number of people
Yeah.
with all varying backgrounds, different lives, different experiences, different professions that have come here to do this and come together and this. I mean, you and me are airplane guys. Rob, you fill a lot of squares here. Docent. Well, you run the simulators. You're docent. You do things. Everybody podcaster.
Well, there's
I
that.
don't want to leave that out. But
I hope that's reasonably obvious at the moment.
well, I don't know. I don't think
But-
I've let you get much of a word in edgewise, but
Perfect Ed.
Yeah,
Paul,
I don't need
So anyway,
a word
No,
in
I
edgewise.
just think that-
because Scott got to come up with you through
well,
part of this
yeah,
journey.
Well, for part of his journey, no, it's been great watching him develop into the man he is, and he does things with integrity and has really
No
come
doubt
into his
there.
own. I think that's great. And it took a while to get there, but you're there. You are that guy, and 20 years is
Yeah.
a long time.
It seems like it's been here about 60 years, but at the same time, I feel like it's been one.
That's right.
I
Exactly.
really
I feel
do.
about 800 years old some days. and, like it's the
Yeah.
first day of the other days. But no, I'd like to see how this museum develops, how I fit in with that.
Integral part, I think, is the category.
We'll see. The museum has all the pieces right now, and I think it could be a deep conversation, I guess. But I think there's some things that maybe need to grow, so it really becomes a true national museum. And I think it is now. I don't want to take away from what's been accomplished, because you think about what we started with and where we're at. But I really think all the pieces are here.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see that a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
even with like what we're doing here and with a lot of the other social media and stuff, it was a lot of
Absolutely.
really splintered
Yeah.
type things, and now we're starting to kind of bring it
Coalesce.
all and work with each
Yeah.
other a lot better. So yeah, you're starting to see. I mean,
Absolutely.
everybody's
with
trying to get
together.
everything up and running, and then it's like, well, now how do we all integrate and work with each other?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and then
So
to
that's
take
kind of the
that
next
really
step.
to the next step.
Yeah, that's the next step.
So I really, to your point, I mean, all the pieces are here. We're all trying to pull on the rope the same direction. I think most of the time.
Most of the
Sometimes it's
time.
around my neck, but I'm probably not the only one with that. But so I'd like to see what that is. For the shop, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think we definitely have we definitely have another big project in us, I think, as the group we have now, I think.
We hope.
I
Yeah.
hope so too.
Yeah, you said I'm the youngest guy there, so it's getting a little bit.
So and you and I are kind of in the same boat. You know, we got to figure out how we're going to get to the finish line here. So, but I think we have it. I think we have the skills to do that, even as a small shop. So
I mean, we accomplished it with the Helldiver, I think, and that was a pretty major.
Oh, that was huge.
I think that was a big project. You know, Chuck Wall and his group got that thing off to a good start, and I think we were fortunate to really take that thing and finish it. And it really needed a very capable shop to do that. It wasn't something that could just go anywhere, I don't think. Or it could have probably gone somewhere and it'd probably been pretty rough.
It could have gone to a couple of places. But,
yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it was in the right place.
Yeah, I think it's something to be proud of. I think the P-38s, all the work that we did, you know, White 33 and of course the Jandino, you know, we did a lot on that.
Yeah.
And things, and of course it's in a great home now with the Waltons, and you know, I was just talking to Kevin Eldridge yesterday, and he flies that for them, and it's up in Seattle now. He flew it up to Seattle a couple days ago, and things like that. So, you know, I think there's a future there in the shop as a group, but I really think the museum is going to be the path for us youngsters, Scott, if we can be a youngster at our age. I think that's going to be something there, and I think we're always going to have a project in the shop.
Yeah.
And,
I hope so.
You know, and if I fit into that scenario, then I'm very pleased to do that. And if not, you know, because I really, to do what I do in my office, we kind of need a big project for me to be fully busy, working with DARs and engineers and machinists and a lot of outside stuff. So if, you know, if they're simple little jobs, yeah, that's great. But a big project suits my position better. So, you know, and maybe my position is part that, and it morphs into some aviation side of the museum as we continue to grow. You know, I don't know what that would be, but you know, I guess I kind of already handle a lot of the logbooks and things like that, and getting pedostatic tests.
I'm pretty sure that it's going to be many, many more years.
But I'm very pleased here. You know, your dad and I, you know, sometimes we get along like oil and water, but we have a tremendous amount of respect for one another. And he honestly, your father is easy to work for if you want to work. And I've told almost every person that's come to work in our shop, if you want to work, Bill Clare is easy to work for. And that's true. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And all of us there have a good work ethic, I think.
That's obvious.
Yeah. And we do it for the right reasons. You know, I was joking with the carburetor guy this morning, Jeremiah up there at Vintage Carburetor, a great carburetor supplier for us. And he says, "What are you going to do today?" I said, "I'm going to do a podcast with Scott and Rob, and then I'd probably go tinker with that Corsair, you know, because we wouldn't want to not work on a museum airplane for free, you know. Wouldn't want to be in my office getting caught up or doing something like that and get paid. No, we wouldn't want to do that. You know, but, you know, that's something I've been doing since I was a teenager.
At the end of the day, you know,
so
you know,
it's what you do.
Your favorite plane when you're young and you're working on one today.
And it still is, even after working on them, which is a little
that's pretty
odd.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but yeah. So
I think that's an amazing note to end off on.
Oh,
it is.
Great. Yeah.
So
well, end up for this session, but we hope you'll come back, because I do want to touch on Reno and working those amazing aircraft.
Yeah, and I think there's you know, some other stories we can share. You know, if you want to talk again about
absolutely
100%
us early on, you know, with what became Westpac and Western Pacific Aviation Services, Westpac Propeller Service, and the museum, of course. It's all been what an amazing journey, and I truly am blessed to be able to do what I've always wanted to do and be able to scratch out a living doing it. So I feel very blessed. It is such a pleasure to be with you two men this morning. I think you guys are doing a great job, and
well, that's high praise from somebody
hopefully
who.
William can edit this down to something reasonable, make me sound good.
Well, dude,
a little effort.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Rob.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Really appreciate the time, you guys, and yeah, have a good day. And I guess we'll go
see you on the next one.
Work on something. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. See you in a few minutes.
So yeah.
Wow.
What an interview, huh?
Again, the moment I got cleared by your dad to start this project, I walked into Bill's office.
Yeah. Well, I
asked
mean,
him.
I've been around him, beyond my entire adult life, because
Yeah.
even as a kid is when he kind of started working there and
Yep.
stuff. That's kind of when I started to know him. And the stories that I hear on an almost daily basis, it's like a treasure trove. That's why I was just like,
And
yeah,
that's-
let's get you. Let's go. Let's sit down. Let's do this.
And treasure trove is the right term.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you heard it. I mean, I couldn't even count how many people he named off, or airplanes, or just the people. I mean, the amount of people that he just talked about in an hour, 20 minutes.
Well, and not just the number of folks, but these are key people in the Warbird community.
Yeah, just the flying community, even. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
these guys have been around forever. So.
And this guy, we need to spend more time. So
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely get him again for sure. That's the nice thing about having him here is we can scoop
Yeah.
him up when we get a chance and talk some more.
yeah, but to come up in this community, and yeah, he mentioned all these names. He wasn't dropping names.
No.
He knows these people. These people know him. It's immediately obvious how highly regarded he is
Yeah.
by all these folks, and the incredible resource he is, not just for you and your dad and the shop, but again, early on, I just happened to bump into him in the metal shop and on a tour, and I learned more in 10 minutes from him than.
Well, and to piggyback that, the great thing about working with him for me is you go in and you'll ask, hey, what bolt do I use for this? You don't just get that answer. You get the history of the bolt. Why, why are you using that bolt in that
Because-
situation? Is it structural, non-structural?
Yeah.
What are the alternatives? I mean, you're not just learning, oh yeah, here's the bolt. Go away,
Yeah.
kid. You're learning so much more, and sometimes you're in a hurry, so you're kind of like not annoyed, but you're like, oh, I don't have time for this. I got get back to what I was doing. But then later on, you appreciate it because you don't have to go ask him for the alternative or why is it that I'm using this, because now he's already told me that. So when I say, I said he's an encyclopedia, he's not an encyclopedia, he's the whole series of encyclopedias when it comes to basically anything Warbirds. We're not just talking hardware, we're not just talking paint schemes, we're talking
Aircraft history.
You're talking about the people that flew them,
Yep.
The guys that have flown them ever since the war. I mean, he'll talk to you about his airplane, and then he could tell you all the owners, the guys that may have flown it. I mean, it's just a vast, like, I don't even know how you absorb it. That's why I was asking him, is this stuff that you just picked up from other people, or are you going home and just sticking your nose in books? And he does, he watches movies, he watches documentaries, he listens to stuff, he's reading stuff. It's just a constant absorption.
Well, because it is a life's work. It is very much an avocation as much more than a vocation. And I think we actually heard the term, and I'm going to start using it, dutopedia.
Yeah, and it just gets in you. It's almost like a blood disease or something, and some get it more than others. Like I have it, but I had other things. Like I had a family and kids and ex-wife and girlfriends, things that that take time away from just being able to absorb. And when my kids moved away and became adults and everything, and then you find yourself with a lot more time. That's why, the last couple of years I find myself around here 6-7 days a week because I want to be here, and now I have the time to do it.
Yeah, less competition.
So yeah, I mean, it's just something that it gets in you.
It does.
probably our next guest that we're going to be talking to. I actually had a conversation with her the other night, just talking about some of her history, and she's got the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just she wants to be here all the time.
Yep.
You know, and she doesn't work here. She lives 100 miles away, but you know, she just has this need to like want to be here and be a part of what's going on a daily basis, even if there's nothing. You know, there's not a lot going on here all the time, but there's always something going on, or you feel like there's something. You just want to be around it. It's a weird feeling. Like I can get away from it. I can go on vacation and kind of put it all to the side. But when vacation's over, I'm ready to be back. And that's just the way he's lived his entire life. Bill Dude is just, even when he is if he does take a vacation, it's to another airport.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's to go see people that he knows, you know, it's just
he'll
continual.
He'll know people everywhere he wants to go, and those people will want to spend time with him.
Oh yeah.
I remember I was bringing a tour through, and he had this couple over here with the airplane, and they had flown in just to come to the museum and hang out with him.
Yeah.
And they were Warbird people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
He'll bring people in and be like, "Hey, remember that so and so?" And I'll just be like, "Yeah." I mean, no, you know, because I don't remember hardly anybody. I'm terrible about that. Or he's the exact opposite. So,
Yeah.
but it's cool because you get to hear, you know, he's not just a dudapedic, you know, but he's also in tune with what's going on with everybody else in the warbird industry. So you get to hear, you know, when somebody gets rated in something, you know, that's on the East Coast that I would never hear or know about or whatever. So
Yeah.
It's just being completely in tune and in touch with everybody in the community, and it is. It's a huge, it's a big community, but it's a very small community, and when you take care of people, for the most part, they'll take care of you, and we've been able to really, as our business, been able to lean on a lot of his goodwill.
Yeah.
For people to get the things that we need. I mean, you don't know how many times, you know, building the Helldiver, you know, I didn't even know what I was looking at, and we didn't have the parts. And then he would get guys, you had guys at Chino, you know, Yanks or whatever, and they would go and take time out of their day to take the cowling off and take pictures of it or something and send it to us. You know, and these are all things that just help. Like you said, you know, everybody worked together to keep everybody going.
Yeah.
Even if you were at different,
Yep.
Everybody's doing different things, but it was all for the same goal. So it's just, you know, I mean, like I said, we could sit here and talk to him for a week straight.
Well, and we may yet wind up doing that in installments, but I think we went long enough on this one. We'll probably have to break it into two.
Oh yeah.
And that's great. And I want more.
Yeah.
I absolutely want more.
So yeah, and we got other things going on still. I don't know, probably sometime during this podcast you might have heard a bunch of commotion going on. That's the construction going on outside the door here, that they're building the new hangar. So that's annoying for us, but at the same time it's fantastic.
And it's a sound of progress.
Some other things that you might want to do, I would highly encourage that you follow us on Facebook or Instagram. If you're into wanting to see some of the documentary series that we've filmed, the Coleman Group has been coming out with a few premieres, small snippets.
Yeah, History's Greatest Aircraft.
History's Greatest Aircraft. I've been sharing it all on my social media. It's some fantastic stuff. The buzz around this docuseries. I just talked to Nick Coleman, who's producing it all, and he said it's just beyond anything that they've done.
Great.
They got the History Channel in Europe is kind of frothing at the mouth for it. Germany, I mean, all these different outfits and stuff. So, and they haven't even got anything done yet. You know, it's just they're just at the very beginning phases.
Teasers.
But the one last teaser I saw, the 1 minute teaser, was just, if it doesn't put the hair on the back of your neck sticking up, you're not alive.
Well,
because it was just phenomenal. I mean, we are so excited for this thing. So follow us on our social media to be able to see all this stuff as it comes out. Just as soon as they post it, I'm reposting it.
Great.
And it's good to go. So you got any last parting words?
No, I need to go home and edit the presentation I'm giving a week from tomorrow after the review with your dad and Don and Harry too. I got a lot of work to do.
Well, then you better get on that.
I better.
All right.
All right.
So for Bill Barclay, my partner Rob Gale, William Stephenson behind all the curtain, and myself, Scott Clares. Take it easy out there.
Easy.